Weed barrier is a woven polypropylene fabric that is used as mulch in tree plantings to control weeds, conserve moisture, and enhance tree survival. However, weed barrier is not a plant-and-forget solution to tree survival in the more arid regions of North Dakota. Weed barrier requires annual maintenance and at some point may need to be removed from the planting. There are indications that weed barrier may become detrimental to the planting after time. At this point, alternative care methods will need to be applied. Annual maintenance tasks include verifying that the holes cut in the fabric for the trees are large enough. Morris west of Hettinger uses a long mop handle with a linoleum blade bolted on to enlarge the holes. This enables him to reach under large evergreen trees without getting on his knees and digging under the limbs. Another maintenance task is eliminating invasive grass, bindweed, and volunteer trees in the individual holes for each tree and controlling the weeds that invade the area between the tree and the fabric. Weed barrier fabric needs to be checked for loose or exposed edges and be anchored with staples or rocks to control the lifting that can occur from the wind. Keeping vegetation off the edges of the fabric is important as well as controlling the soil and organic matter that may accumulate on top. Weeds next to the fabric can be pulled by hand, mowed, or killed using chemical. Remember that soil type, weeds to be controlled, and the age of the trees are critical factors when using chemicals, so check with your local extension agent for the right chemical and always read and follow directions on the herbicide label. Dave Merwin of Hettinger has built a homemade sprayer on the back of a pickup to spray his fabric edges. The carpet attached to the sprayer protects the trees from drift, and Dave merely drives down the edge of the fabric with the pickup wheels in the depression made when the fabric is covered and sprays the edge. The area between rows also needs to be maintained. This can be as tilled ground, chemical fallow ground, or as sod area with a low moisture using ground cover. Your local NRCS, SED office, or extension office can provide recommendations for non-aggressive ground cover options. Originally designed to break down in 5 to 7 years, weed barrier fabric is not breaking down as expected. This lack of breakdown may be caused by shading from the trees and accumulations of organic matter and sod growing on the fabric. At some point, it may be easier and more effective to remove the fabric and switch to a different system of annual maintenance. There are several options for removal of the fabric. Dave Merwin prefers using a large barbecue knife purchased at a dollar store to cut the fabric, starting at the tree hole and cutting out to the edge. After cutting the fabric, he attaches the fabric to the hitch on a pickup and slowly drives along the row and pulls out the fabric. Removed weed barrier will need to be properly disposed of in improved landfill. After removal of the fabric, a weed badger is a good option for weed control. Here, Ken Dorr of Adams County Soil Conservation District demonstrates weed badgering in a new tree planting. Many SEDs have equipment to rent for this operation. The weed badger allows for good mechanical weed control in the rows and very close to the trees. Between rows, the vegetation can be chemically controlled, tilled, or mowed. Always be sure to follow the recommendations of any agency that was involved in funding the planting.